G'day guys, goeiedag, hoe gaan dit? My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, you are here today because there is a very widely known public knowledge in South Africa that should you call your bulldog an English bulldog, it'll bite your head off. Okay? That's a fact. That's a fact. Even the dogs in South Africa know that the English are an insult and should not be trusted. And there is a reason. Because in the world of rugby, okay, there's absolutely nothing worse than losing to the tampon kings, mending white, okay? The white tampons. There's nothing worse than losing to the white tampons, especially at the Rugby World Cup final, okay? When that happens to you, you end up with 20 years of rage, and all you want to do is scream into the camera on YouTube, okay? And that is an affliction I don't want to be passed on to anybody. I do not wish that upon anyone, so thank goodness this is not the Rugby World Cup final, but it is still a very, 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 very important day in the calendar year for the South Africans and for the English, okay? And first up, the big fight that we're all been waiting for, right, is finally gonna happen this weekend. Bongi Bunabi versus the white, can't say that word on YouTube, but hey, I'm waiting for this. It's happening. Oh, sorry, my phone's ringing. Hang on. Hello? Oh. I'm sorry. Okay. I just been told that Tom Curry has been withdrawn from the fight, so there will be no fight this weekend between the teams. Tom Curry has pulled out of the fight, so I guess it's just gonna be a no contest for this one. So yeah, I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen this weekend. But hey, the rugby game is still gonna be happening. We will be looking at that right now. So yes, obviously England lost to Australia on the weekend, and they're gonna be looking to bounce back against the Springboks. I thought the English obviously was a little bit more dominant over the Wallabies overall. I just didn't think that, the England had it didn't really have what to do to close out the game. I think that was the problem with the England side. They were very dominant early in the game, and then they kind of just started losing the grip. And at the end of the game, you can see there no one really knows what to do, and it was just Marcus Smith doing everything to try to pull the England out of the fire. And he almost did that as well to win the game for the English. So yeah, England has made a few changes in the team. The main one is the change at number 9. Jack Van Porvier has been called up in 9 position. And in the fullback position, also a big change. It's Freddie Stewart coming in. Maybe expecting the kicking game from the Springboks with Freddie Stewart under the high ball exceptionally well. For the Springboks, big changes all around the park after the game against Scotland. The big nuclear bomb squad bench was put on the starting position, as everybody was expecting Sia Khaleesi move it up to the start, and just Peter Septutoy. Jasper Wiese gets caught in number 8, and the big calls at the backline as well. Mani the Bok gets the nod at number 10, with Hundred Pollard moved down to the bench, and big changes the backline all around. It is a bit interesting. We'll go through everything in more detail a bit later. It is a bit interesting. Mani the Bok start with Hundred Pollard coming off the bench is the setup at the Rugby World Cup quarter final between England and South Africa, and that has worked for South Africa, and this is maybe something that Rassie Erasmus tries to replicate again. And in that game as well, South Africa played 5-3 on the bench, just like they are doing again tonight, with only 5 forwards on the bench, 3 with 1 additional backline player on the bench. So Rassie may be trying to use the same strategy against England and just try to maybe hone the little bit of areas that was missing a bit at Rugby World Cup quarterfinal, and try to build that in, not quarterfinal, semi-final, and try to build that into a better performance tonight against the England at Twickenham. So yeah, Bothwick, in the Rugby World Cup quarterfinal, let's have a look at some of the stats. A lot of people thought this was, pretty much going to be a one-sided win for South Africa, and it was ultimately came down to the South African scrum that wrestled, basically, the 4-pack coming to the bench, wrestled the game back, and with the final scrum winning the penalty to get the South Africa the win. And England was firmly in control of the game for the majority of the game. And again, this is the issue that's been plaguing England. Didn't really have the confidence to back themselves to score more than 3 points. Every opportunity they had kick the 3. But that was, against the world champions like the Springboks, you don't really expect to score tries against the super good defense. But yeah, it is, one of those things that I think you're building a habit when your players are just, it's kind of like there's an interesting comparison here. So when England is under pressure, they choose to kick penalties or play the kicking game to try to alleviate that pressure, because that's their default. That's their default response to like uncertainty, right? To kick the ball away, to play inside, to kick the ball away. As long as the ball is away from your try line, you feel that the English players feel safe and comfortable. Whereas the South Africans, their default is a scrum. So if anything happens, they're literally just happy to drop the ball and let's go for the scrum, let's go for the reset, let's go for the penalty. That's like a very big difference in terms of how the two teams handle that pressure. And I just think that England have to transition out of that mentality of just kicking the ball away when they're under pressure and just play the territory. As long as the ball is not in our half, they feel good about it. I think they have to really rethink about that strategy a little bit, and we'll see if they're going to make a difference or not tonight. Steve Borthwick, after this game, this performance, people thought he was, Steve, what's his name? Steve Turing, whatever his first name is. Levels of intelligence, of game plan coming into this one, but I think that, the South Africans were probably a little bit off guard with, lots of the shuffling with the backline, with man of the block kicking issues at the time. I think it was probably the South Africans were a little bit caught with a little bit pants down than actually England having Borthwick having such a crazy game plan. But it will be interesting to see how the rush defense is going to work out against the two teams. Both teams have had Felix Jones. Both teams had Felix Jones. Felix Jones left England as well. I think Felix Jones is still assisting England at the moment, but officially he's left. So the rush defense from both teams is going to play into each other a little bit. I thought the English defense was really good against the All Blacks and really poor against the Wallabies, whereas the South Africans has consistently been quite good with the rush defense structure, and we'll have to see how that's going to match up between the two teams. And would that lead to more kicking? Would that lead to more scrums? We'll have to wait and see. But this was interesting. As you can see, England actually, more dominant in terms of run meters, and turnovers as well, exactly kind of the areas you want to win, but they really wasn't able to capitalize on like the set piece and the scrum, and just really not able to get any points on the board and allow themselves to slip away in the second half. So yeah, really close there for England, but not quite crossed the line. So ever since Rassie Erasmus taken over, they have lost England by 1 point a few years ago in 2021. But other than that, the South Africans has been there's another one here in against England. Was this one against England too? Sorry. And other than that, the South Africans has been, there's a couple here. Other than that, the South Africans been pretty dominant, especially at the Rugby World Cup. And some of these losses, I think at the time are due to like availabilities and injuries and stuff. So the Springboks, I think I'm not sure 100% if this was the game, but there were games where this might be one of the games where Damian Willemse was played at 10 because of availability to 100 Pollard and injuries and so on and so forth. So it's definitely a full stream team available this weekend from both sides, and that makes it extremely exciting. And speaking of the most important player on the field, the more important man on the field, I guess, is Andrew Brace. With a lot of kicking game going this weekend, the blocking is going to become another issue. The World Rugby is clamping down on illegal blocking off the ball chasers to allow a fair contest. So Andrew Brace will be pretty much hammering down on that. I thought the Irish referee, I thought he's been pretty decent, pretty accurate overall. A while ago, he was having a bit of an issue with consistency, but I think he's gotten a lot better in recent times, and I have no too much issue with him being the referee. I think that it's going to be a good match overall for the weekend. And the weather on the weekend, it's going to be quite cool. Maybe a little bit of humidity, 88%, but overall maybe might get a bit greasy. The ball might get a bit greasy, but overall this is going to be a pretty decent conditions. At least it's not raining for rugby. It's probably the best you can hope for in terms of getting rugby games in England. And with that being said, let's have a look at the men who are given the privilege to represent the nations this weekend in the monumental matchup at Twickenham. So in the front rowers, Ellis Genji coming number 1, Jamie George number 2, and Will Stewart coming number 3. The scrummaging will be a key area for England. I was not that impressed with the England scrum last week against the Wallabies, nor I thought it was a little bit better against the All Blacks. So they really need to take that another step up against the Springboks. Ox Nche was on the bench in the Rugby World Cup semi-final. He's up here in the loser position. And Bungin Nabi retains the number 2 jersey. And Wilco Low gets the nod to start at number 3 ahead of Thomas Toy, who did, I think, a pretty good job against Scotland last week. And yeah, this will be an interesting setup. Ellis Genge has been pretty dominant. I thought getting a bit more dominant, regaining some of the dominance that he had in the past, in the last couple of weeks, but still not quite to the level of the Springboks. So that could potentially be a bit of a weakness he can exploit on Wilco Low there at number 3. Will Stewart has been pretty solid, so Nche, but he does have a height disadvantage at 188. Nche is 176, so Nche will be probably getting underneath him. So look for that for Will and Nche to pop Stewart out on the tight hair side potentially this weekend. In the lock position now, Maori Toji coming number 5, and Maori Toji number 4, George Martin retains number 5 jersey for England. Eben Nesbitt, Mr. No Day Off, gets number 4 jersey. Achia Sneeman comes in number 5. He was put on the field pretty early last week as well. Slightly earlier than the rest of the Bomber squad, I think. So it's good to see that he gets the nod. The Viking at number 5. Coming number 6, Chandler Cunningham South. And very physical, 2 tries against the Wallabies. He's going to have to bring a lot more physicality this weekend to match up with the Springboks. And a new addition to the England number 7, with obviously Tom Curry injured. Sam Underhill has been called up to the number 7 spot. Ben Earl retained the number 8 jersey. I thought he had a pretty weak game against the Wallabies last week. Not quite as dominant as his performances against the All Blacks especially. So he's going to have to look at performing a bit better this week. I think he probably, he will know that from the review after the game. Sia Khaleesi gets called in number 6, and Peter Septutoy number 7, and Jasper Visa gets the nod at number 8, a high ball specialist almost now for the Springboks. The interesting part for the Springboks, obviously last week, despite the win against Scotland, Rassi was not happy. He wanted a bit more clinical performance, especially in the first half. And it is probably like a bit of a mind game from the Rassi Erasmus to kind of like get the players in the right mindset for this game, not to get overconfident. And I think that Sia Khaleesi and Peter Septutoy will be really putting their head down this game for the nation. Coming in the backlines now, at number 9, Jack Van Poor. Sorry, not Van Poorvier, Van Poorvliet, I think they call him. Van Poorvliet comes in number 9. A change here for England. Who was the last week? It was a different guy last week. Marcus Smith retains number 10 jersey, who was absolutely tremendous for England last week. The kicking game, the pinpoint accuracy from the kicking game was just, was quite incredible, to be honest, last week. And there will be quite a bit of a styles clash here between him and Man in the Bock, because both of them have known to be in there kicking, Man in the Bock kicking the no-look pass in the Rugby World Cup against Scotland as well. And so there'll be a bit of a kicking duel there. And I think that Marcus Smith might have the edge here over Man in the Bock in terms of that accuracy, in terms of that being able to spot space, and in terms of that variety that he can bring to the team. So I probably have to give the edge here to Marcus Smith for England. But the South Africans have indeed called out Grant Williams to the number 9 jersey. He came off the bench and immediately the England the pace of the breakdown was much better for the Springboks, much less disruptions. And there was I was wondering why he wasn't put on the field earlier last week. Some of you guys were saying because Rassi wanted him to start this week and don't want him to overload him on the work. And sure enough, here he is at number 9. He's been very good for the Springboks. And I think he's going to be, if Man in the Bock is struggling a little bit, I think Grant Williams can just spark up a lot of opportunities around the rocks just by taking the ball up with his speed and agility around the slow forwards near the rock, so he can spice that up for the South Africans. Coming number 11, Ollie Slyhorn. He was off the bench and then was caught up, and it was absolutely spectacular for England, especially with the kicking game from Marcus Smith. He was able to basically follow those through and yielded a try. I think at least 1 or 2 tries. It was absolutely spectacular, Ollie Slyhorn. So really big nod for him at number 11. Curdy Adamson gets number 11 jersey for the South Africans. Always good under the high ball, always dangerous, given a bit of a space. In the back line now, the England has stuck with the same setup from last week with Henry Slater at 12 and Laurie Lawrence at number 13. For the Springboks, changes at 12. Damien de Linde comes in for Andre Esterhuizen for number 12. So Damien de Linde defensively, I think is a little bit better, and I think maybe a little bit more physical in the carrying game as well. Mr. Superman comes back at number 13. Jesse Krill. And Jesse Krill had a bit of a break. In the back line, he's kind of like the Ebenezer Beth who never gets a day off, but he did get some time off last week, and he'll be fresh to go this week to smash some English players and make a few very, very big tackles. I've no doubt about that. Tommy Freeman gets retained the number 14 jersey for England. Chetland Kobe comes in number 14 for South Africa, ahead of Kenan Moody. Finally, number 15 for England. Freddie Stewart get the nod ahead of what was his name? What was his name? I think he played for the Saints. Yeah, but Freddie Stewart gets the nod here. Number 15. He's kind of been out of favor with the England team a little bit. But he did play against the All Blacks in July, so he's definitely ready to go here. With a different style. Apalele Fasi as well gets caught in number 15 ahead of Billy LaRue. He shows the emphasis in terms of counter-attacking, in terms of the high ball, because Apalele Fasi is absolutely spectacular under the high ball in that regard. And also the counter-attack speed that he brings, obviously, faster than Billy in that sense as well. Coming in at the bench now, Luke Cowan-Dickie gets number 16, Finn Baxter number 17, and Dan Cole number 18 for England. Malcolm Marks, number 16. Jorge Steenkamp comes in number 17. And Mr. Big Vinny Cock comes in. Vinny Big Cock comes in number 18 for South Africa. And number 19, Nick Isavic for England. Elreich Lowe for South Africa. And number 20, Alex Dombron for England. And Hwaga Smith for the finishing bomb squad. I guess not bomb squad, the 5 forwards on the bench for the Springboks. Number 21, Harry Randall comes in. I thought, again, he looked a bit lost in the later stages last week. Hopefully, he's given a bit more instructions on what to do in those tight situations and not to just kick the ball away this week. Kobus Reinach, a clear emphasis here from the Springboks for counter-attack. Reinach has been exceptionally good, again, around the rocks, just being able to pick and go, finding those opportunities with lazy forwards. And we'll have to see. He's gonna definitely bring a bit more speed as well off the bench. Speed is the key word here. And number 9, both in the start and on the finish for the Springboks. George Ford retains the number 22 jersey. He was pretty poor last week. Again, drop ball, leading into Andrew Callaway freebie. He needs to. I don't know. He might not get much game time this week if the game is really tight. They might just put him on for the last 5 minutes for a drop goal. I think that's probably how Steve Borthwick will do it. If it's really close, they're just going to put him on for a drop goal. If it's not very close, they might just not. It depends. If they were leading, they're probably not going to put him on at all. If they're winning, they're not going to put him on at all. But if they're losing by a small margin, they might put him on for a drop goal. And that is about it. 100 Pollard comes in number 22. Again, will come on, especially if there's going to be any kicking issues from Manny the Bok. And number 23, Tom Rubach for England. Pretty much a new guy. 2 caps for England so far. Has he actually got 2 caps? I don't even know. I don't even think he's played 2 caps for England. Let me know if he's actually got 2 caps. That's actually correct, because I don't think I've ever seen him before in the England lineup. I've watched pretty much every test match England plays. Maybe one of the small ones on tour or something. But anyway, Lukamu gets the final nod at number 23 as an additional winger/center substitution in case Henry Pollard might go to center as well. So in case Henry Pollard goes to the 10, Lukamu can cover center in that sense. So this is an interesting game. I think the Springboks will win this one. I think Rassie Rasmus has been planning for this game, almost like they've lost the World Cup semi-final there. Bongi Bonabe was in tears after the game, and I think that there's a lot of passion built up from the Springbok team. They were thinking that they got out of jail on that one, that they wanted to redeem themselves with a much better performance this week. And I think Rassie, looking at the way he set up the team with the pretty much the same setup on the bench, I think that he wants to, he's got a game plan that he wants to execute, and I think that the Springboks will win this one. 25 points to 21, let's say. 25 points to 21. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys a bit later. And have a good one. Cheers.